Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Real Time, where we talk about the movies that we like.
And the ones we don't.
I'm Tyler.
And I'm Molly.
Today, we're going to be taking a look at the newest in the Karate Kid saga, Karate Kid Legends. We would have covered it right as it came out, but I had to go to Colorado to deal with family issues. My grandpa just died, and I had to be with my family there, so that's why this is a bit late. All 20 of you that may or may not watch our videos.
Yeah, that's okay. They forgive you.
Cool. So, this movie is sort of a canon welding of the Karate Kid movies starring Ralph Macchio and the one starring Jackie Chan. It's a very odd circumstances, but why not?
Yeah, it's like they needed something to connect to these two movies. So they made this movie to kind of explain why that there is a Karate Kid movie about kung fu starring Jackie Chan.
Yeah, and fortunately, no Jaden Smith, so that's wonderful.
Yeah, no Jaden Smith.
So here we have a young boy named Lee, played by Ben Wong, who, along with his mother, played by Ming Na Wen, moved to New York City from Beijing. So it's a time old tradition of a kid moving to another city because their mom gets a new job or something of the like. And just like with Miguel, his mom is working in a hospital, so that's neat.
Yeah, kind of funny. I didn't even think of that at the time.
Here he meets the daughter of the local pizza place, Mia, played by Sadie Stanley, and they have some sort of a romance blooming, but he finds out that she has an asshole ex-boyfriend who also does martial arts. Let's see. In this case is a kid named Connor, played by Aramis Knight, who is the local champ of the Five Boroughs Karate Championship. Sure, fine. We're basically just repeating plot details and beats, but this movie does do things a little bit differently because it doesn't start off with the focus being to beat this guy in karate to win the tournament. At first, this guy's kind of a nuisance, kind of an obstacle for Lee, but it doesn't really become his primary focus to beat him just yet.
Yeah, he's mean, but he doesn't really pick on Lee too much, so he's not really like the main problem right now. So it's kind of put on the back burner.
Yeah. So Connor, his sensei, he loaned money to Sadie's dad, and now he wants it back. So it's kind of a loan shark operation thing going on. And it gets brought up, it gets dropped. It's whatever.
Yeah, don't really know what for. Did he say what for?
He didn't.
Yeah. So there's a lot of questions with that, but it is what it is.
Now, in Beijing, Lee's great uncle is Jackie Chan's Mr. Han. He was probably the one part of the Jaden Smith Karate Kid movie that I actually liked. So it's nice that they brought him back. I'm always down to see Jackie Chan in a kung fu movie.
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I always like seeing Jackie Chan in things.
And as Jackie Chan's family in the past had taught Mr. Miyagi's ancestors Miyagi-Do Karate, he enlists the help of Ralph Macchio's Daniel LaRusso to help train Lee for this Five Boroughs tournament. It's, what, I'm fine with it. Is it kind of contrived? A little bit, but it makes sense given that the Miyagi who brought karate back to Okinawa ended up in China. So it would make sense that, it makes sense in like a cosmic sort of way that he and Mr. Han's family cross paths. Makes sense to me. It's movie logic. These sorts of things are acceptable.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
And according to Ralph Macchio, this movie takes place a few years after the final season of Cobra Kai. Sure, fine, cool, that's acceptable to me. It explains why Miyagi's house looks a little bit different. It explains why we don't really see or hear from any of the younger characters on Cobra Kai, like Miguel or Sam, Tori, Robbie, any of them. Um, so that makes sense. However, spoiler alert: in the very final scene, we get a cameo from Johnny Lawrence as uh, Daniel ordered a pizza from New York to get delivered to the dojo, and Johnny suggests they do a pizza place called Miyagi Do, spelled Dough, and he's just clueless as to why that would be offensive.
Yeah. Yeah, it is very nice seeing Johnny in this scene, even though he's in it for very, very few, uh, very, very little screen time. But it is fun to see him. But yeah, that also makes sense as to, why the Cobra Kai kids aren't in the movie. Their story has already been done. They're off doing other things. So yeah.
Plus, Johnny's still drinking his stubby bottle Coors Banquet, which I appreciate.
Yeah, he was, yes.
Um. So yeah, I honestly, Johnny Lawrence's cameo bumped this movie up from like a 3 out of 5 to a 3.5 out of 5 because it was just a joy to see.
Yeah, it is nice to see him return for things.
So, what did you think of the movie overall? We discussed it coming out of the theater, but let's revisit some of those thoughts.
Okay, well, overall, I found it to be, I found it to be boring. I'll just get to it. I thought it was a little boring. I didn't think the bad guys were not very. I keep wanting to say they're not very good bad guys, but that just means they're not very like intimidating or like really putting pressure on the main character. It seems. So I think you talked about this when we left the theater. The stakes were very low. There was like nothing to gain, nothing to lose.
Yeah, like Lee joins the Five Boroughs karate tournament because he wants to put Connor in his place because he's a douchebag, which I get, but like there's no stakes, nothing's really on the line. He just does it to do it, which yeah, the little turd deserves to get an ass whooping, but I thought the point of martial arts wasn't to pick fights, but to find balance and purpose in your own life.
Yeah.
And to be fair, that is part of it. He uses it to deal with things after the death of his brother, which he feels like was his fault. But the main conflict of the movie is more like, yeah, gotta fight this guy.
Yeah. Especially if you compare it to the first Karate Kid, because there are a lot of similar structures. It's just not as impactful.
No. Now, I will say that Lee was at least a likable enough protagonist. Like, he's not breaking any grounds or anything, but he's decent enough. I wanted to see him succeed, certainly, but I wasn't rooting for him the same way I was Daniel or Miguel, for instance, on Cobra Kai. He was just there. He's fine enough. Like I said, I liked him, and the actor playing him did a fine enough job. It's just, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't have any problems with the main character, but I do think, there's just something was missing, I think. But no, like, major problems.
Yeah, like, as for if we're ranking the four Miyagi verse Karate Kids, as it were, I would, at the very top, I would put Miguel, of course. He had a lot more time to develop himself as the Karate Kid. He worked with both Cobra Kai and Miyagi-Do, as well as Eagle Fang. And I feel like he got it being a TV show helped to contribute to him getting a more satisfying character arc. But yeah, that probably is why he is my favorite of the four.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Then Daniel, of course, he's the classic Karate Kid. He's the one that we met and the one who we saw grow up into train the new generation. And yeah, I don't really have any complaints with him outside of his role in Karate Kid Part 3, but we'll get to that later. Then Lee, nothing really unlikable, just nothing really special either. And then at the bottom, Dre from Karate Kid 2010, just an unlikable protagonist, very annoying, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Now, I haven't seen the Jaden Smith one in a while, so my opinion could change on it. I'm not sure if it will, though. We'll see.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a long time either, so I'm not gonna talk too much on that until the time comes.
Yeah, I feel like it was nice to see Daniel again, though. To be fair, it wasn't too long that we last saw him. The final season of Cobra Kai ended earlier this year, but it was nice to see Jackie Chan again in this role. He's, like I said, one of the few things of that movie that I did like. But I feel like them welding these two together was kind of... I feel like some things were kind of just tacked on so that they can reach a wider audience because, hey, Cobra Kai just ended. People got a lot of goodwill with going with that. So let's throw Daniel into this. Let's put Jackie Chan. Let's just put these two canons together and make a double canon. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I feel like Daniel's whole involvement in the plot was very just kind of rushed, kind of forced in. I don't think he got any very big emotional moments with the main character. So yeah, it wasn't quite as meaningful as it could have been.
Yeah, and this movie's an hour and a half long. I feel like there's definitely some stuff that got cut out. Maybe they're gonna Zack Snyder it up with an extended cut when it comes to physical and streaming. Maybe, I hope so. If there's some significant scenes that would help the movie, I welcome them.
Yeah, me too.
And if we could get more Johnny too, incidentally, I would not say no to that.
Yeah, he comes to New York with Daniel and helps train. That all got cut out of the movie.
Oh, speaking of Johnny, what you said about the bad guys really not being too interesting, that's definitely a problem for me too, because we have the owner of we have the sensei of the dojo that Connor works out at, whatever, and he doesn't really have much of a presence in this movie. Like, he shows up every now and again because Mia's dad owes him money, and he convinces the boxer that he's fighting to cheat and knock him out, but he doesn't really have anything to do with Lee. Connor does, sure, because they go to the same school, and Lee is talking to his ex-girl, but it's the same problem that I have with the 2010 Karate Kid. Like, the sensei that of the opposing school doesn't really have much interest in Dre. It's really more of a him and Mr. Han kind of thing, but there it at least made a bit more sense, given that there was some sort of indirect confrontation between him and Dre. But here, they don't really interact at all. It's not like with the original with John Kreese and Mr. Miyagi and Daniel. He has direct involvement with both of them, and then later on in the following sequels, he gets more hands-on with Daniel than he does with Miyagi in some cases. And with Miyagi, he gets more hands-on with car windows.
Yes, that is true.
Really, the Karate Kid villains peaked with Kreese and Terry Silver. All right, these two have aura, they have menace, they have fun with their villainy. Really, they're the best villains that these movies and TV shows have ever gotten. You just can't match them.
Yeah, those are villains that you like to watch, and you can get engaged in the story more. I couldn't think of the word.
Yeah, you love to watch them, you love to hate them, you hate to love them in some cases because they do have sympathetic moments and qualities. You have Kreese's war service. You have his the struggles he had before he went off to the army. You have his sort of redemption arc he had at the very end of Cobra Kai with Johnny, and then you have Terry, whose life was saved by Kreese, who was gonna fight their captain in a duel to the death over a pit of snakes, and decides to make something out of the business that his father leaves him, and things just spiral from there. And later on, after he and Kreese realize, well, he more so realizes than Kreese that they were kind of crazy for going after a teenager in this karate rivalry. He chills out. He stops doing so much cocaine. He probably goes straight with his business, and he just really removes himself until Kreese brings him back in, and he becomes the big bad of the Miyagi-verse in general.
Yeah, that guy just loves tormenting teenagers.
But you love to watch him do it, and that's why they're so fun. These guys in this one, no, I couldn't tell you. Well, there is a moment that Connor had when he was sparring with someone, which earlier when he was sparring with someone who told him that Mia was seeing a new guy, he roundhouse kicked him in the face, which kind of suggests that he's he's following the Cobra Kai example of strike first, strike hard, no mercy. But then later on, when he's sparring with someone, he only does what he needs to do, and then he has to get told by his sensei, why didn't you hit him again? We train to kill here. It's like this is kind of incongruent with what Connor was doing earlier.
Yeah, there is some inconsistencies there.
Which, to be fair, I didn't think he was a very interesting character anyways. So, whatever. But also at the end, he does show a bit of respect to Lee after Lee proves that, yeah, I actually could have, gone harder, but I didn't because I'm not like you. So there is a small moment from him, but overall, villains are not very interesting, which isn't 100% necessary. But it is helpful. But then again, like I said, they're never going to match Kreese and Silver.
Yeah, you're probably right there.
Even some of the side villains they had on Cobra Kai just weren't quite on their level. But that's okay. They weren't the main villains anyways.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Overall, I thought this was a decent enough movie. I certainly had a fun time with it, and I'm happy I saw it. I like to see more from this world. I just wish things were a bit better.
Yeah. I said it was boring, which maybe that was a bit too harsh. Maybe it's more some places were boring. But, yeah, like you said, I mean, I love the Karate Kid franchise, so I'll always be down to watch whatever they give me.
And maybe I'm judging this a bit harshly, given that it's coming off of, the end of Cobra Kai, which was an incredible show. It went on for 6 seasons. I feel I would have liked to have seen it go on longer, but we don't always get what we want. Oh well.
Yeah, oh well.
Unless you have anything more to say?
I don't think so. I think I'm good.
Well, then that'll do it for me too. We will catch you next time.
See you next time.